Step inside the Forum and you enter one of the most expensive pieces of real estate in all of sports. Jack Kent Cooke sold this building to Jerry Buss in 1979 for $67.5 million. Oh yes, he threw in a basketball team, a hockey team, and a ranch. Oh, sit here at courtside and it costs you $100 a game. Stars are what these people pay to see, and they've had them throughout the years. Here's the retired jersey of the great Elgin Baylor. Overlooked because of the presence of these two, Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West. They are the men who led the Lakers to their first world championship in 1972. There is an empty spot on the wall, and that awaits jersey number 33. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will retire it at the end of next season. Kareem was the center on the 1980 and the 1982 championship teams. This is another even year in the 80s, and the sellout crowd here in the Forum is thinking world championship again. Now, ordinarily, this is a laid-back crowd in the Forum, but it will not be that way today. The Boston Celtics are a force to be reckoned with, and these folks are ready here in Southern California. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger. We are all even in this NBA World Championship Series, and prior to Game 2 in Boston Thursday night, I said the pressure was squarely on the shoulders of the Boston Celtics. They responded to the challenge, but the Los Angeles Lakers let one get away. And that means that today, the pressure shifts to the shoulders of the Lakers. How will they handle the burden of having choked down the stretch in Game 2? That is the critical question. Now, a man who was out here early for the Celtics today, in fact, as early as I've ever seen him, was Larry Bird. He spoke to our Dick Stockton, who will be calling the play-by-play. Dick, what did Larry have to say?
Well, Brent, the series scoreboard may show 1-1, but according to Larry Bird, it's 1-1 in favor of the Lakers. He says that the Lakers have dominated the play. They have outplayed Boston without any question, and that they have more guns than the Boston Celtics. And one reason may be the lineup change made by Pat Riley before the series started. It began in the last game in the Phoenix series. He installed James Worthy as outstanding sixth man in the lineup and moved Michael Cooper to guard. Worthy has been a terror on offense, and Michael Cooper has done a terrific defensive job on Larry Bird. So that matchup has worked for the Los Angeles Lakers, but the things change as the series goes on. I want to bring in my partner, Tommy Heinsohn, and we're going to see two people come off the bench for the Lakers today, and they could be important factors for L.A., Tom.
That's right, Dick. Pat Riley told us that he's going to use Jamal Wilkes a lot more. Great player in the past for these Lakers. Suffering from an illness, but he's come on strong lately, and he's also, for the first time, it looks like, going to use Mike McGee in this series, a player that had started in the series against the Phoenix Suns.
And Pat Riley told us he thinks before it's all over, Jamal Wilkes is going to be a very key performer. Now, we have talked about the fast break, and of course he wants more quickness in the lineup, but when the fast break does not work, they go to the half-court game, which means the name of the game is double-teaming the big guns of the Boston Celtics, and the Lakers have done that so well.
Well, a double team is simply double-teaming a man with the ball to take it out of his hands, a good offensive player, much like double-teaming a wide receiver in professional football. What goes on right now is Larry Bird down in the low post, being two Lakers guarding him. He's trying to find an open man, a cutter going to the basket. You see Cedric Maxwell trying to make his move. He's bumped out of there. Gerald Henderson makes his move. Bird under pressure, throws the ball away. And here's how you beat the double team. Kevin McHale, two Lakers around him. The uncovered man, Scott Wedman, at the head of the key, one of the finer outside shooters of the Celtics. Out it goes to him, up and in, and that's the way to beat the double team.
Tommy, Casey Jones is looking for the guard who can bury that jump shot wide open from outside, and maybe that guard will be the hero of game number 2, Gerald Henderson, who right now is with Pat O'Brien. Pat?
Thank you, Dick. You know, Gerald, the last time we talked was just after you put the game into overtime. That must have been a big lift for the Celtics.
Yes, it was. We needed that desperately, and, you know, we came back to winning in overtime. I'm just glad that, you know, I could make that play.
Now, you've been guarding Magic Johnson, who gets a lot of acclamation. Could you be the unsung hero of this series?
Well, maybe. I don't know. We got out a bomb burner in Boston, and I just hope we can come out of Los Angeles with one win. And all the guys, we have to have a lot of contributions off of our bench, and you know, it'd be great if we could just come out with one win.
Speaking of that, you've been putting in a lot of, substituting a lot of guards. What's Casey Jones looking for with that?
Well, we have good shooters on the bench. Danny, Scott Wedman, you know, if we can get those guys going with a hot hand, you know, that's a great contribution, and we need it.
Okay, thank you, Gerald. Who says he may be the unsung hero. Brent, back to you.
All right, Pat, thank you. So many shooters on the bench. Let me bring in now Kevin Lockery, the coach of the Chicago Bulls. What about K.C. Jones's guard rotation in this series, Kevin?
Well, Brent, because of the defense that the Lakers is playing, giving the guards of the Celtics the outside shot, KC's been forced to use 5-guard rotation, bringing in Danny Ainge more and using a forward at guard, Scott Wedman. That could cause some problems.
Let's take a look now at the Celtics from the perimeter.
Well, here is Dennis Johnson from the perimeter. His weakness in his game, he's the best guard they have, is the outside shot. Here's a real bad jump shot by Dennis Johnson. On the other hand, Scott Wedman, a converted forward to guard, is a great outside shooter, and he hits the jump shot right here, but again, you could have a problem.
Kevin, you're a coach. The egos are so important. What happens when somebody doesn't get enough playing time?
Well, particularly your starters. They used to play an awful lot. Dennis Johnson, Gerald Henderson. The Celtics need these two players. You have to worry about their confidence. If they lose confidence, they could be in trouble, and the Lakers are tough.
Kevin, a little sidebar to this series. The great actor Jack Nicholson was in the Boston Garden. He really stirred that crowd up, and then he left early. Wouldn't you know it? He was on the team plane with the Celtics coming out to Los Angeles. The movie? It was Terms of Endearment. He won an Academy Award for his part in that movie. They got down to the end of it, the critical scenes. M.L. Carr took off his headset, threw it down, says, I'm not watching the end of your movie. You didn't watch the end of our victory. We are ready now. It is Game 3 of the NBA World Championship Series.
Coaches and then the starters for Game 3. K.C. Jones and Pat Riley sticking with their original plans and hoping for better execution. The forwards. Larry Bird, the Celtics' leading scorer. James Worthy is hitting at 24 points a game. The power forward, Cedric Maxwell, the top offensive rebounder. Kurt Rambis has to keep Max off the board. Robert Parrish bounced back after Kareem outplayed him in game number 1. The playmaking guard, Gerald Henderson, whose quickness made him a hero. Magic Johnson, still the Lakers' #1 all-around threat. And the other guards, who are defensive specialists. Cooper has done a fine job. Johnson has struggled. And the officials, Earl Strom and Paul Mahalik. And Jess Kersey is the alternate. A capacity crowd and an exciting crowd. As Brent said, no laid-back Southern California mood today. And certainly the Boston Celtics aren't laid back, although K.C. Jones has always taken the low-key approach, Tommy.
He's that type of coach. He's loosened up this Boston Celtic team after last season, where they thought they were under extreme mental pressure under Bill Fitch. But, boy, they've had a relaxed attitude all season long.
Here are the scores of the first 2 games of the series. The Lakers winning Game 1 in Boston, and the Celtics in overtime in that dramatic finish in Game number 2 in Boston. Games 3 and 4 here at the Foreman Inglewood, and there is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who scored 20 points in Game 2, only the second NBA player in history for 4,000 points in the playoffs. Jerry West is the only other player to account for at least 4,000 points in playoff history. Robert Parrish, the center for the Celtics. Both of them are 7-footers, although Robert Parrish gives up a few inches to Kareem. Out of bounds, and it's Boston ball. On now they say, yes it is. Boston ball, and so the Celtics will go on the attack with Henderson and Johnson in the backcourt. Maxwell, number 31, who's guarded by Kurt Rambis. James Worthy is on Dennis Johnson. It's been a big plus matchup for LA. Johnson